Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Megaman ZX. In the last part, we took care of the Midway mission and started off our second volume missions, and now we're actually wrapping up our business in Area J. Even though we beat Leganchor, the nearest trans server is back at the entrance of the area, so we need to actually do a bit of a backtracking to get there. You could have theoretically actually found this group of rooms before fighting Leganchor, but I think the door to him is actually locked at that point. I think is a keyword there. Also, that dragon I just showed off is what I was talking about towards the end of last part when I was mentioning alternative charge shots. The moment you unlock the second half of a biometal, you get access to their secondary charge shot, which you activate by charging up to a golden aura and then holding up while you release the charge shot. In the case of Model L, it's an ice dragon that will track on enemies, moves really slowly, but can do some decent damage, at least on a single shot. Again, it's probably the least useful out of all the biometals, even in its complete state, but eh. Also, I know there's a red trans server up in the upper right of this room, but I want to actually go back to the trans server in Ep.8 just to save myself some time on teleporting later. So while I had to bear with that annoying beeping sound effect, I got here now. I can teleport to the next area immediately. Speaking of which, let's take on our next mission. Let's go after Save the People. I've detected a biometa signature in Area I. In addition to the biometal, there are other signs of life in the area. It looks like some innocent citizens are being held inside the facility. Head to Area I and free the captives. Okay. Now, Area I is an area we've technically seen before, but we never entered. You might remember back way when we first fought Highbolt, there was a trans server at the end of the power plant. If you took a look at the bottom right of that screen, Area I is just after Area E. When I first played the game, this was actually the second mission I tackled. The life signs look like they're located in the very back of the area. Since you defeated the one in charge of the power plant operation, some of the equipment isn't functioning now. If you could just find a way to get the electricity flowing. Alright, I'll find a way to get the power back on. First off, love this stage's aesthetic and the song. Really good music. And this stage is one that you could tackle in one of a few different ways. Also, I think if you look in the background in some part of the stage, you can actually see Omega's ship from 03. In this room is where the path branches. You can either go right for the upper path or down for the lower path. The only purpose of heading down, in my eyes, is to get some data discs. I almost always head right because there is something else in this stage that is very useful for us. And it's also the main reason I went in this stage order. Also, that was me being clumsy. That happens a lot in this recording. My reasoning for taking the upper path won't be apparent until the end of this next outside section, but we have better things to talk about. Like, first off, is that the dark elf see on the background from 02? It looks a lot like it. And we've got a mini-boss, Sphinx. Area I is unique in that it actually has two mini-bosses depending on the ground you take. If you go the other direction, you'll fight Drake. And these things, I'm not sure if they actually have an element. I want to say Drake... No, you know what? I think I'm thinking of the dragons from 04 when I'm talking about this, actually. No, I think these guys are technically non-elemental. They are just mini-bosses that have very similar strategies. They fly all over the place, have a little roar attack, can fire various missiles. They're honestly pretty boring mini-bosses in my eyes, though. I do believe there is another visual reference you can find in the other pathway, and I know for a fact somewhere in this stage, I think you can find the remains of a Pantheon from the Zero series. But otherwise... this mini-boss is just kind of here. Has a good chunk of health, all things considered. I think even more than, like, the Metul did, but oh well. Also, you're going to notice in this video, I die and get really low on health a lot because I'm reckless in this LP. Admittedly, the reason I actually used to go after this stage second was because it was right there. That is the entire reason I used to do that. Nowadays, I am the kind of player that will go after all the biometal fragments first so I can have them all with me for the second volume missions. But, honestly, going for 2 full biometals in a row than another 2 is a confident playstyle, especially if you're going for weaknesses on the bosses, because they need to have more weapon energy to do extra damage with the elements. Either way, we're coming up on the reason that I went the upper path. Here, up on this next wall, we can find the game's 4th and final life up. However, there are spikes next to it. What the game wants you to do is go and beat the boss of Area I and come back with Area 8 with Model H's second charge attack, which will allow you to boost this platform up. However, if you're smart like me, you can just take a hit and do that. Similarly to, I think, the heart tank in Wheelgator's stage in Mega Man X2. And the only reason I do that is so I can cut out some backtracking, because otherwise you would need to backtrack for that, and I have no interest in doing that. Thank you very much. Thankfully, we're almost near the end of the stage. In fact, I believe there it is. Boss of this stage is, obviously, since we're right next to where Highbolt was, going to be a lightning elemental, so I recommend getting Model L out. However, I want you to be careful with it for this next boss fight. And where are you? Ooh, flashy. Let me guess, you're here to save the poor folks in the next room? Quite the little heroine, aren't you? They're valuable sacrifices for the resurrection of Model W. Cyber-Elves exposed to the data on fear are the key to reviving Model W. I'm the Model 8 pseudoroid, Hurricaune. You're about to become the next sacrifice. Just make sure to scream for me. Sorry, I stutter a bit, it happens. Either way, Hurricaune the Wolveroid is our next pseudoroid, and she can be troublesome because her weak spot is her neck. And I'm not sure if you're noticing, but her neck's very long. You want to actually do something very similarly to when we fought Fistleo here, and attack her with either a charge shot or with the overdrive mode of Model L from behind, in order to not hit her neck, plain and obviously. In terms of what she can do, she loves to fly all over the ground shooting balls like that. She can also just do tornado throwing like this. But her main move that she didn't do in this fight, surprisingly enough, is that she'll stand in the center of the room and cause a giant tornado to form, which will constantly suck you in while she's firing out 2 or 3 volleys of 3 altitude shockwaves. Ha! Not bad. Do whatever you want with the people in the next room. It won't matter anyway. Model W's awakening will still come to pass. Okay. But that's our 6th pseudoroid down, and time for us to get the final part to Model H. It looks like you've recovered the password and my power. I am grateful. However, it will take time to reassemble the password into something you can use. Please, be patient. With that, Model H's weapon energy is not only maxed out, we have access to its secondary charge shot, which again, charge up to gold, hold up and release, and you do a bit of a storm tornado thing from X1, and that is actually deceptively powerful. Like, it is about as powerful as Storm Tornado was in X1 if you use it enough. You can get a lot of hits in. The people are in that room. You have to free them. Okay, way to free them, just destroy the lock. We're saved! We were just about to become Cyber-Elves. Thank you for rescuing us. You were going to become Cyber-Elves? What do you mean? Those bad guys. They steal our memories and change us into Cyber-Elves. They were also trying to scare us before we changed. I saw them. I saw the others changing one by one into those Cyber-Elves. So that's how they were able to create so many of them. They're even cooler than I had imagined. We'll send the people back to town. Thank you for saving the mail. And that's Area I done and over with, and unlike Area H or Area J, there's actually a good tram server here. Thank you. I don't know why they don't put these at the end of all areas, but either way, with that, we want to take on our next mission. Let's go protect the lab. We've located an old research lab in Area L. The facility's layout is similar to the one where the first commander discovered Model X. There might be some clues about the biometal around there. The enemy is already moving into the area. We can't let that data fall into their hands. Head to Area L and acquire the data before they do. Alright. Now, Area L, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? You remember that door way back in the middle of Area H after the giant Metul fight? You have to go all the way back there, and there's no easy teleporting back to there. So you need to go all the way through that again. That took about 6 minutes to get back here. Ale, the enemies can commence their attack. If we don't hurry, all the data in the research lab will be lost. The room with the data should be up ahead. And this is actually one of my favorite stages in the game, despite it being one of the simplest in layout, because it's basically a straight hallway. There's no, like, twists and turns in this stage at all, but there's a lot of enemies here and a lot of explosions. Be careful of these crates, by the way, because while you can destroy them, if you destroy one with another on top of it and you dash under the second one when it's falling, it will crush you. And that's a death, and that's no good. Something you can do, though, these boards that some of the galleons are on, you can actually grab onto them with Model P by holding up, and that was embarrassing. And while that doesn't sound too important, that can actually be a decent way to get around some enemies in this stage. While this stage is very linear with no real twists and turns, they do thankfully have two gimmicks to make up for it. Because here we start getting the introduction of these satellite dishes. There are two kinds of them, blue and red. And they each have a different effect. Blue reverses your control, so right now I'm holding left to go right, and vice versa. And then there's the red one. The red one makes it so that you can't attack at all. So now, if I press the Y or R button, I can't use my saber or my buster. There is no way to get around this, and it can be pretty annoying. However, if you're just going through recklessly, this stage is not very annoying. I have a dislike for this area, though, for another reason involving a certain side quest we'll be doing later on. Also, I believe I mentioned I'm going to be doing side quests in this LP. I should probably specify I'm doing side quests that get me something that's not just energy crystals, because some of them just give you energy crystals, some of them give you items that allow you to restore your health, like the E-tank I have. But for the most part, I'm doing them to say that, like, give me a chip or something else important like that. Also, you know what's annoying about the side quests? That I'll get back into this later on. You can only accept one at a time, and you have to treat it like an actual mission. Like, you'd go to a trans server, go to mission reports or requests, select it, and then you're on that until you complete the mission. And that's annoying because you can't tackle multiple at once, and certain items for a mission won't spawn until you're actually on it. And I am not fond of that at all. But yeah, this stage, I like it, but it is very rudimentary. There's a lot of bottomless pits in it, I will say that, so getting knocked back can be annoying here, especially as Ale. But if you're going for your platforming, there's no real danger here. However, they do make up for it with the boss, as we'll see, because he is one of the more annoying in the game to get a level 4 victory on. Not the most annoying. My general rule of thumb with this game is the fire-type pseudoroids are the hardest to get a level 4 victory, the ice are the easiest, and then the null and wind ones are 50-50. Love the song here as well. Again, this game has such a good soundtrack. Either way, with that, I believe we are now at the end of the stage. The boss of this area is a Model P variant, so he doesn't have a weakness, so let's just head on into it. Wow, you're big.
You've come at last. The foolish Megaman who has sided with the Guardians. All of the data that was found here is now in my internal data disk. I just need to destroy this room with you in it. And all of the loose ends will be tied up. I am the Model P pseudoroid Protectos. I will crush anyone that stands in our way.
Protectos the Goroid has a fairly annoying weak spot. You might think based off his rhino design that it's his horn, but no, it's his belly. And his belly takes up about 50% of his hitbox. You need to hit his head in order to not damage the biometal at this point. Best ways to do that, jump slashes. Jump slash a lot. Charge shots with the Buster are good when he's on the lowest of the 3 tiers in this room, but otherwise just go for jump slashes. Try to stay behind him if you can. But in terms of attacks, this guy's actually one of the more fun boss fights in the game because he has a lot of bombs that can explode in different radiuses. He has this one attack I think he's actually about to do in a moment where he'll send out a nuke. And the way you protect yourself with it is by standing behind him since he'll protect himself from it. If you're not going for a level 4 victory, though, this guy's probably one of the easiest bosses in the game because you could just hammer away at the weak spot. Also, I should mention, I don't think I mentioned this before, the reason that damaging the weak spot damages the biometal is because the biometal shard that a pseudoroid is in charge of is within the weak spot. So, in this case, the Model P fragment is in his belly, so I'd be damaging it, hence lowering the weapon energy. Which, you know, at least there's some explanation for that. It's not just like some rudimentary, oh, you didn't do as well, so you don't get as good of a reward kind of thing. Even though in gameplay, it might as well be that. But yeah, I like this boss a lot, but he could be a bit more annoying, especially going for that level 4 victory. But I love his design as well. I love the giant bosses in these games as well.
Ugh, no! How could anyone break through my armor? Ugh.
Also, obviously, enemies and bosses will get split in half if you finish them with a saber versus Buster.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Strong armor is nothing compared to the power of will. It will take some time before I am capable of recovering the password. The password will be ready when you need it.
All right. And even though I forget to show it off, we now have access to Model P's second charge shot. The data disk was left behind by Sis. It had to be. Make sure you don't forget to pick it up. And we found a data disk. Biometal report, classification 55913, chosen one. This message is intended for the chosen one who will someday find the biometal I have created. In order to fight Model W, causing the Maverick no good. Looks like the data is corrupt. We might still have something that can recover the data at HQ. Please send it to us along with your mission report. Notable when you're playing as Vent, that data log has different dialogue, more so about Model W than the chosen one. Either way, the charge shot we actually get for Model P is a shield. And I forgot to mention, his normal charge shot, or Model P's normal charge shot, rather, is a shuriken that you just throw forward and I think will boomerang around a bit. The shield will protect you from some damage, but it's overall not too useful. I still find Model P overall to be more useful than Model L, though. Either way, with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in Part 9, we're heading after our final biometal piece in one of the worst stages in the game. See you guys then.